This is not just a story. Tonight, you leave this world behind. We're stepping into a time when the word civilization was still wet clay, when cities were rising, not from vision, but from labor, not from glory, but from pain. You are not stepping into the life of a king. You are stepping into the life of someone beneath memory, someone history forgets. Because this story is not about warriors, not about legends, or crowns, or conquests. This is about the ones who made the bricks, who lifted the water, who carried the gods on their backs. You are about to become a Sumerian peasant, and that is why you will not survive. Even if no one remembers your name, the weight you carry will echo through eternity. Now, close your eyes. Breathe in. Suddenly, the world folds in on itself. The hum of electricity fades. The modern sky goes silent. And in its place, heat, thick, ancient. The air tastes like iron, clay, and something old. So old, it has no name. A flicker of golden light spills across your vision. When you open your eyes again, you are kneeling on dirt. The year is around 2400 BCE. But here they don't say BCE. Time is not a number. It's a flood, a famine, a death, a king. Your knees press into sun-baked earth. Your palms are caked with dry dust. And you are dressed in nothing more than a single coarse linen wrap, scratchy, sun-stained, clinging to skin rubbed raw by work. You are 17, maybe 16. You don't know your exact age. No one here counts years the way you did before. They count survival. This is Lagash, a city in the fertile south of ancient Sumer, the so-called cradle of civilization. But this cradle has no lullaby. It is made of heat and noise and teeth and silence. Your home is a square of mud brick, crumbling slightly at one corner. Its roof leaks when the river gods cry. The floor, hard enough to bruise bone. There is no glass, no chimney, no metal lock. Only woven reeds for shade. Only your own hands for defense. You slept last night on a mat of flattened straw. If you slept at all, your stomach reminds you. It's been nearly a full day since you last ate. A bowl of lentils shared between 5. No meat, not this month, not unless someone dies, and their offering is shared. The walls around you are jagged, built fast, patched poorly. Your neighbors are already awake. A coughing child, a shouting man, a donkey braying in complaint. You stand up, slowly, and the world feels wrong in your bones. The streets are alive with sound, but not the kind you're used to. No cars, no machines, no music. Instead, you hear the rhythmic slap-slap of women pounding grain on stone, the distant clang of a bronze tool dropped on baked earth, the wheezing of a sick ox dragged toward the field, and beneath it all, the low, endless hum of flies. Flies are everywhere, drawn to open wounds, open mouths, open latrines. You wave them away, but they always come back. They don't just feed on filth. They live in it, like you do. There is no breakfast, no bath, only the orders of your master, or your father, or your overseer. Whichever man feeds you, owns you. Today the task is irrigation. The canals need dredging. Again, the river has changed course. Again, the gods are angry. Again, you trudge barefoot past clay houses, open drains, children with distended bellies, old men whose spines bend like wet reeds. The ziggurat rises in the distance, massive, holy, unreachable. They say the gods live at the top, but you've never seen them. Only the priest, in his linen robes, golden necklace. He blesses the fields. With water he does not fetch. He thanks the gods. For harvest he does not grow. It's not just warm, it's punishing. The kind of heat that crawls inside your skin and sits there, whispering, draining, waiting. The sun isn't a friend here. It's a god. And it's angry today. Already, your lips begin to crack. Your eyes sting from wind-blown grit. You cough once, twice, and spit mud. The nearest well is half a league away, but you can't drink from it freely. Water is rationed, controlled, sometimes taxed. If you're lucky, you'll get a full bowl by midday. If not, a few sips from a shared skin. Still, you hope. You think of barley, the golden grains that feed the city, the reason you work, the reason you stay alive. You think of your mother, her hands, always trembling, always blistered. She once told you, if you can grow barley, you can live. But she didn't say, how long. You walk past the body of a dead dog, flies thick on its eyes. No one moves it. No one can afford the effort. That effort is for the living, and even they are tired. Still the priest chants. Still the governor's servant walks by with silver rings and oiled hair. Still, you kneel in temple dust once a week and whisper thanks for survival. You don't know before your eyes fully open. Something burns. It creeps into your nose like smoke, but sharper. Ammonia, wet straw, sweat. Not your own. You slept on a mat that belonged to someone else last week. Now they're gone. And you've inherited not just their blanket, but the stench of their death. Your eyelids twitch, dry and sticky. Your lashes are caked with a fine mix of clay dust and dried tears. You want to rub your eyes, but your fingers are cracked and lined with grime. You sit up. Your back screams. Your legs throb. Your stomach growls, not with hunger, but emptiness. The kind of emptiness that makes you nauseous just to move. You don't remember falling asleep, only that your hands were bleeding when the sun went down, and that your last thought was, maybe if I die in the night, they won't notice for a day or two. The smell of survival. Now that you're upright, you realize something worse. The smell is not just coming from the mat. It's coming from you. You haven't truly washed in weeks. There is a river, but the city's runoff flows straight into it. People bathe, urinate, and dump rotting grain all in the same stretch. You tried scrubbing once with ash and sand as the women do, but the cuts on your hands festered afterward. Now, you just wipe what you can and let the flies finish the rest. Your body carries the scent of fear, labor, and fermented skin. You are no longer surprised by it, but today it feels heavier, closer, like something is watching. Surprise. Historical insert. In ancient Sumer, most people shared living quarters with livestock. Goats, donkeys, sometimes oxen. Diseases like anthrax and skin lesions were normal. There were no sewers, no soap, no understanding of germs, just rot and luck. You stumble outside. The sun isn't up yet, but already the air is thick, heavy with early morning humidity and the stink of open waste pits. Your feet sink slightly into the warm, muddy lane. You forgot your sandals again. Not that they were much protection. One of them was stolen last week, or maybe eaten. You're not sure. But sandals are for those with money, with names. You are not one of them. Disorientation sets in. You try to walk straight, but the ground feels wrong beneath you, tilted, unfamiliar, as if the very earth beneath this world does not want you here. A donkey shoves past you suddenly, and your shoulder slams into the wall of a neighbor's hut. You grunt, not from pain, but from restraint, because if you cry out, they'll hear, and if they hear weakness, they'll take more. You've learned that lesson over and over. You swallow your breath, stagger forward, eyes half closed from the sting of dust. Silence is safety. You pass a row of children, silent, watching. Their ribs show. One has a worm in his eye. He doesn't flinch. He just stares. You nod. You don't know why. Not speaking is safer. You learn that, too. Words cost more than water. The overseer's voice. Suddenly, a shout. Not far, deep, hoarse, like someone calling across a battlefield. It's the overseer. Barley line, move before the measure dries. You flinch, not because he's calling you, but because he could. You don't want to be in the barley line today. It means measuring sacks, carrying weight, watching others get more than you because they bowed lower, or worked faster, or knew someone. You veer left toward the irrigation ditch. Maybe you can get there before the others. Maybe there'll be less mud today. Maybe you'll only be bitten by leeches once. Maybe. The day begins to rise. By the time you reach the edge of the city, the sky is already turning gold. A color so beautiful, it almost hurts to look at, because nothing else in your day will be this beautiful. Birds cry overhead. A few men mutter nearby, and then a sound that cuts deeper than any other. The priest's horn, low, long, holy. It echoes off the ziggurat, off the walls, off the bones inside your chest. It tells the gods, the peasants are awake, their hands are ready, their knees are bent. You kneel instinctively, not from faith, from fear. A new day has begun. Internal whisper, will this day be better? Or will I lose more of myself by the time the sun sets? If I died today, would anyone know my name? You stand again. The heat rises, the sweat begins, and your body starts to forget what comfort ever felt like. But still, you walk, because if you stop, you disappear. And so it begins. The sun is up now. The ditch calls. The oxen moan. The barley master shouts. And the gods remain silent. But you are not allowed silence. Not yet. Your first task, survive long enough to see midday. It sounds simple, but here, in this sweltering, merciless world, it's the hardest thing you'll do all day. You haven't eaten yet. You probably won't eat until dusk. And even then, it may only be a handful of cracked barley soaked in river water. Maybe lentils, maybe not. You're already weak, already sweating, and the sun has barely risen. But still, your body moves. Because if you don't move, they notice. And if they notice, you're gone. The hunger isn't just in your belly. It's in your arms, your bones, your eyes. You haven't had meat in over a month. Not since the priest's cousin died, and the family offered a goat at his funeral. You were allowed the hooves, boiled for 5 hours. You chewed bone until it softened, or until your teeth cracked. Your gums still bleed, but you smile when someone looks at you. That's the rule here, no matter how much you're dying. Smile like you're thankful to be alive. Water, maybe clean, maybe not. The water line is long today. They say the upstream farmers dumped waste near the well. The water smells like rot, but no one has a choice. You cup your hands, sip slowly. It burns your throat. Still, you drink, because no water means collapse. Collapse means punishment. Punishment means lost labor. And lost labor means someone else takes your spot. Your task today, digging the canal edge. The irrigation ditch has collapsed again. The walls gave in after yesterday's sun cracked the mud too dry. Now you must dig it out with your bare hands. No tools were given, only a shard of pottery. It slices your palm, but it's all you have. The dirt is sticky, almost alive. It sucks at your knees. It eats your energy faster than you can make it. Each scoop takes breath. Each movement hurts. And then you feel the eyes, not the gods, not the overseer. Them, the others, the men beside you, other peasants, other poor. They don't speak, but their eyes say what their mouths won't. He's slowing down. He's not one of us. He's weak. You try to dig faster. Your lungs wheeze. Your throat tightens. But inside, you hear it. I don't belong here. They'll know I'm not from this world. They'll know I'm pretending. But still, you keep going, because in this place, hesitation is death. A sudden blow crack. Something slams your ribs from the side. A cart. Too close. No apology. The man guiding it doesn't look at you. He doesn't stop. He doesn't care. You curl slightly. Hide the pain. Keep working. Because weakness is a language everyone here understands and exploits. What happens if you stop? Last week, one of the workers fainted. An older man, maybe 40, maybe more. He fell near the granary wall. No one helped. They stepped over him. His tools were taken by noon. His hut emptied by dusk. No one said his name again. You never learned it. Today's pay, maybe barley, maybe nothing. Wages come in sacks, but they shrink. 2 handfuls, if your overseer remembers your name. 3, if you finish the canal before the priest finishes his afternoon chant. But if it rains, no barley, no count. No one owes you anything, because here a contract is not ink. It's favor, and you have none. You wonder, why do they accept this? Why does no one scream? Why does no one fight? Then, you see it. The mother, with a baby tied to her chest, still stomping clay bricks in the sun. The boy, no older than 10, dragging a broken yoke. The woman, with only one arm, holding a bucket twice her size. They don't fight, because this is all they've ever known. This is not injustice. This is the universe, as told by the gods. Internal conflict mounts, and now your mind whispers again, this isn't your world. You don't belong in this life. You can't survive this. But another voice, fainter, replies, "Then why are you still standing?" You stare at your hands, blistered, filthy, bleeding, but still working. You wonder, is this strength or surrender? And which one is more dangerous? Midday nears. The heat is unbearable now. Your tongue sticks to the roof of your mouth. The flies never leave. The sweat turns to salt. Your vision flickers. But you keep digging. You don't speak. You don't think. You just survive. Because that's what a Sumerian peasant does. There's no room for weakness in this world, because even the gods are watching, even now, especially now. You kneel in the dust outside the temple. The ground burns beneath your knees. It hasn't rained in days, but the air feels like it's soaked in heat. Around you, the other laborers bow their heads. They don't speak. They don't blink. They just whisper or mouth the same old prayers to the same old gods. You repeat the words too, even if you don't believe them. You kneel, because not kneeling means being seen. Being seen means being punished. And punishment in this world is often divine. The temple looms above you, a towering ziggurat, part palace, part altar, part mystery. No one you know has ever climbed its full staircase. That is for the priests, the scribes, the chosen. You remain on the outer steps, the realm of the dirty, the hungry, the unworthy. But still, you bow. You offer your hands, your sweat, your silence. Because here in Sumer, belief is not optional. It is survival. You are always being watched. Enlil, the god of wind and power. Inanna, goddess of war and love. Utu, the sun, whose stare dries your skin by midday. The statues in the temple never move, but you feel their gaze. Their eyes are wide, painted black and white, outlined in gold. No eyelids, no rest, no mercy. They watch as you pour a small bowl of flour into the offering urn. It was all you had. The priest doesn't thank you. He doesn't even look, but you bow anyway, because in this world, you are not just a servant. You are the offering. Thematic anchor. You are not just a servant. You are the offering. Remember that phrase. It will follow you like a shadow. The ritual begins. The priest raises a cup of honeyed beer toward the heavens. He chants in a language you don't fully understand. Ancient syllables, sacred breath. Smoke rises from burning resin. It stings your eyes, but you keep your head bowed. You hear the guttural moans of another peasant collapsing behind you. No one moves to help. The ritual continues. The gods will not wait. You wonder, what do the gods want from you? What more can you give? You've given your body, your time, your children, the last one born too weak to cry. What else do they want? Your soul, your thoughts, your doubt. You bury that last part deep. Doubt is dangerous. Doubt is seen. And in a world ruled by the gods, seen is punished. Belief is a burden and a shield. There's something strange about the way people pray here. It's not devotion. It's not peace. It's fear. Fear that if they don't say the right words, the crops will die. Fear that if they miss one ritual, the river will rise and wash away the city. Fear that if they displease the priest, the gods will never hear their names again. You were told from birth, everything that happens is because the gods allow it. Famine, punishment, stillbirth, a lesson, snake bite, divine justice. No one questions it out loud, but inside you wonder. The temple's wealth and your hunger, you notice it now. The priest's hands, soft, his robes, clean, his mouth, full of honey and dried figs. He eats what the gods don't. He speaks for the sky and takes from the ground. And yet, when he turns, the crowd bows deeper, because fear here is older than hunger. The carvings on the wall. You stare at the temple reliefs as you leave. Stone carvings of kings beside gods. Lines of peasants offering grain, cattle, fish, just like you. And beneath each figure a name. But you know, you will never be carved. You will never be remembered. You are not the speaker. You are not the warrior. You are not the god. You are the one who kneels. And you are not just a servant. You are the offering. As you walk away, the ritual is done. Your body aches. You can't remember the last time you prayed without trembling, but you did it, because in this world, whether you believe in the gods or not, they believe in you, or at least they believe in your pain. No law protects you here, only power does, and power in Sumer is not earned. It is owned, passed like a golden necklace, from hand to hand, from name to name. You learn that the first time a man struck you for standing too slowly, he had a seal around his neck, pressed into clay like a god's fingerprint. That was enough. You had nothing. That was enough to power lives in clay. Everything here is written in clay. Laws, wages, debts, even lives. You've seen the scribes press their reed stylus into soft tablets. Rows and rows of wedge-shaped cuneiform, baked and dried and stacked like bricks. That's how they say who owns what. But you are not written. You are not counted. You are just another back, bent under the sun. another name never etched. If you disappear today, the tablet will stay dry. The governor passes by. You hear the rattle before you see him. A cart pulled by 2 oxen, painted wood, gold leaf flaking at the edges. The man inside leans back, shaded under a linen canopy. Oil glistens in his hair. A servant fans him with palm leaves. He doesn't look at you. He doesn't have to. You and everyone else step aside without a word. It's not a rule. It's not a command. It's instinct. And as the wheels roll past, kicking dust onto your face, you wonder if he even knows where the food he eats is grown. A voice from the future. Centuries from now, historians will wonder what his name even meant. They'll find broken tablets, scraps of law, a signature, a title, but they won't find you, because this story is not about kings. It's about the ones who carried the grain for his feast, and then were whipped when the wind knocked the bowl over. Law in Sumer. You once heard a law read aloud. In the square outside the granary, a crier stood on a platform and shouted the words of the Ensi, the local ruler. If a man borrows oxen and works them past their strength, he must repay with his life. If a woman enters the home of another without permission, she may be drowned. If a worker fails to complete his duty, his rations may be cut in half. You listened with your mouth dry. You listened like you were hearing a sentence. Not a rule book. Because here, justice is not blind. It sees your clothes, your sandals, your hands, and your silence. You remember the whipping, not your own. A boy, younger than you. He dropped a sealed tablet in the canal. The clay cracked. The message. Lost. He cried. Said he would make another. The scribe didn't care. The guards came. 5 lashes. No trial. No defense. You saw the blood seep into the dirt. No one spoke of it again. That boy is quiet now. Still works the field. Never looks up. He learned. You did too. Past-future layering continues. You wonder, will the world remember how this felt? Will they write of sweat and salt, of trembling hands and silent obedience? Or will they only carve statues of the ones who never bled? Will they say the laws were fair, that order ruled, that Sumer was just? You look around and know the truth. This is not justice. This is endurance. Power decides who eats. The rations are handed out in the plaza at dusk. Clay tokens pressed with the governor's mark are exchanged for food. 1 token means a handful of barley. 2 get you lentils. But not all tokens are equal. Some men receive double for the same work. You saw one man given meat. Meat, not for labor, but for laughter. He told the priest a joke during a funeral chant. Now his children eat better than yours. That's how power works, not with fairness, with favor. You ask yourself again, why don't they fight? Why don't they resist? But you know the answer. It whispers in your own chest every night, because to rise is to be seen, and to be seen is to be destroyed. So you bow, you serve, you survive. You haven't spoken all day, not because you chose silence, but because silence chose you. No one asks you anything. No one cares to hear what your voice sounds like. Your mouth tastes like dry ash. Your tongue sits thick and slow. The dust between your teeth makes every breath feel like swallowing sand. And yet, you keep going. Because in this world, stopping isn't sadness, it's death. Same tool, same task, same silence. You hold a chisel, dull, wooden, older than you. You scrape clay from a cracked wall, one small handful at a time. Not because the wall matters, but because the work does. The tool has worn into the shape of your grip. Your palm is hardened to match it, and your bones feel like stone. You've done this for hours, days, months. You're not sure anymore. The sun hasn't moved, but you swear time has bent around you. Every moment, the same. Every hour, you disappear a little more. You look around, but no one looks back. There are others here, other workers, other poor, but no one meets your eyes. No one speaks unless commanded. It's like living inside a whisper, a life smothered in dust and obedience. You could scream right now, and the wind would carry it away before anyone noticed. You wonder if you are still you, or just the hands doing a job. The voice in your head returns. Maybe I'm not meant for this. Maybe I'm not strong enough. Maybe the gods made a mistake. You dig harder, you move faster, as if burying the thought will stop it from growing. But it grows anyway, like a seed in bad soil, cracked, crooked, but alive. You rest. For a second, when knee drops, your chest tightens. You steady yourself on the edge of the wall. Breathing slow, you whisper. Not to anyone, not even to yourself, just to survive. A boy walks past you, 10, maybe 12, carrying a basket twice his size. He looks straight ahead, like you're not even there. You realize you could vanish, and the day would go on unchanged. You remember your brother, not his name. That's already gone. Just his face, lean, sun-dark, eyes always half closed. He stopped working one day, sat down by the river, didn't get up. They said the gods called him home. But you remember the way his hand shook before he left. The way he whispered, "I can't feel my body anymore." And now you understand. Internal thought. Whisper. Who am I now? A name, a laborer, a servant? Or just something the world uses up? You glance at your reflection in a puddle, shallow, muddy. You don't recognize the face. You look older, not in years, in wear, like something left too long in the sun. You want to cry, but you can't. Tears feel expensive here. Like water, like time. Even your sorrow feels rationed. Instead, your body shakes once, then stops, and you go back to work because the wall is still cracked, and no one else will fix it, and the sun is still watching, and the priest is still chanting, and the gods are still silent. Repetition. That's all life is now. You wake, you kneel, you carry, you bleed, you dig, you whisper, you sleep, and somewhere between sleep and waking, you forget who you were before this, if you were ever anything at all. Final internal conflict. Echo. Am I broken? Or is this what survival feels like? Is there even a difference anymore? And still, you work, not because you believe, not because you hope, but because you have nothing else. There is a line in the sand today, drawn not with chalk, not with words, but with choice. You stand at the edge of it, and everything in you is screaming, not aloud, of course. That would get you beaten, or worse. But inside, something rises. It begins, like any other day. You're at the canal wall again, the same ditch, the same mud, the same hunger. But today, something is wrong. The ox yoke has snapped, and the overseer is angry. His voice tears through the air like a blade. You there, he points. Fix it, or lose your rations. You hesitate, because what he's pointing at isn't your job. It's dangerous. You've seen others crushed under the weight of that cart before. You open your mouth to speak, to say, "That's not my place," to explain, "I'm not trained." But he glares, and in Sumer, a glare from a man with a seal is the same as a law. The choice is clear. The cost is not. You can obey. You've done it 1,000 times before. Bite your tongue. Take the risk. Eat your barley. Or you can say it. Say no for the first time. Say what everyone else is too afraid to say. I am not your animal. I am not your dust. I will not die for your comfort. Your chest tightens. You feel eyes around you, the other workers, some watching, some pretending not to, some silently praying you stay silent. Because if you don't, it might mean they have to make a choice too. The air stills, even the birds are quiet, even the gods, it seems, are holding their breath. You speak. It's not loud, It's not elegant, but it's real. No, just that. The overseer stares, at first confused, then amused, then cold. He steps forward. What did you say? You want to say it again. You need to say it again. But fear clutches your throat, and still you nod. The consequences begin. He lifts the rod, the one made of boiled wood and wrapped in rope. You don't run, you don't duck. You just stand there. As it strikes your shoulder, crack, you stumble. Another hit, your knees buckle. The dirt rushes up, but you do not cry. You do not beg, because today you chose not to vanish. Gasps around you. You hear a whisper from someone nearby. He said no, as if they can't believe it, as if you've done the impossible. Internal whisper, maybe this is how legends begin. Not in glory, not in gold, but in defiance. In one word, one refusal. But legends don't bleed like this. You taste iron, your skin stings, your vision blurs, and still you smile, because today, for one moment, you remembered who you are. End segment teaser. What happens next will follow you into legend, or into the dust with the rest of the forgotten. A single nail cost a day's work, not a bag of nails, not a tool, just one, a smooth bronze spike, no longer than your finger, enough to fasten a beam, or patch a roof, or, if you sell it, maybe feed your family one more night. You stare at the blacksmith stall. A dozen nails hang from a frayed rope, like ornaments. They shimmer in the sun, like treasure, because here they are. Welcome to the economy of sweat. There is no paper money, no coins, no digital ledgers. Here, value is carved from hunger. You trade sweat for sacks, tools for trust, pain for permission. You want a sickle? That's 3 weeks in the fields. You want shoes? That's 3 lambs. You want a knife? You better know someone, or bleed for someone who does. Surprise, fact, insert. In ancient Sumer, a basic bronze blade cost more than many families earned in a season. Commoners often bartered grain, labor, or even children to repay debts. Tools were passed down like family heirlooms because they could mean the difference between life and starvation. The marketplace isn't a place. It's a chain. You pass through the clay alleys near the city's edge. Men argue over fish weight. Women hold baskets of onions like they're gold. A boy offers to carry someone's goods for a pinch of salt. You hear a phrase again and again. What's it worth to you? But the real question is, what are you worth? You watch the smith. He wipes sweat from his brow, casually. His fire burns hot. Bronze drips like honey onto anvil stone. You know how many people will suffer for those tools. Someone will carry that blade through 5 months of canal work. Someone will trade their barley for a bucket handle. Someone will kill for a farming hook, because tools aren't items here. They are power, and you have none. Barter is brutal. A woman nearby offers eggs for soap. The trader shakes his head. 2 more, he says. She has none, so she offers her shawl, the only thing between her child and the night air. He nods. The trade is made. You wonder how many times she's made that decision, how many times you have. Debt is a god. Here you owe the goat keeper 3 sacks of barley for a sick animal you borrowed last season. It died. Not your fault, but you still owe. If you can't pay by the next moon, he has the right to claim your hut. The city will let him. The gods will stay silent. Debt here is not a number. It's a sentence. And still, you work, you haul bricks, you mend a crumbled fence, you sweep a priest's doorway for the promise of half a fig. You sweat into the earth, and someone else gets rich. You dig the canal, he gets the harvest. You break your back, he sleeps under linen sheets. But no one calls it theft. They call it the way things are. You wonder, why do we all agree to this? Why do we keep playing a game where only one man eats? You don't have the answer, because your hands are full. With clay, with rope, with everything but power. The black humor of it all. You laugh quietly, because yesterday someone traded a necklace for a barley sack. A necklace, carved shell, polished smooth, once worn by a daughter on her wedding day, now exchanged for porridge. Gone. Nothing lasts here except the hunger. You glance at the blade again. The bronze knife sits on a reed mat, unguarded, beautiful. It glints in the sunlight, like a question. Not can you afford it, but what would you do for it? Final reflection. In this world, your sweat becomes someone else's coin. Your hunger becomes someone else's feast. Your labor builds someone else's temple. And yet, you keep going because you must, because you're still alive, and because, even in this world of prices, you still carry something no one has bought. Your story. You thought this world would be noble, ancient, majestic, sacred. The stories made it sound that way. They told you of the ziggurats, reaching the heavens, of gold ornaments and gleaming temples, of wise kings and priestesses wrapped in stars. But they forgot to mention the mud, the flies, the hunger that wakes you up before the sun. This isn't a movie you Once imagined ancient life like something painted in sunlight, slow motion rituals, wind blowing through linen robes, a wise elder nodding under a date palm. Instead, you crouch over a trench, cleaning human waste with your bare hands, because the latrine overflows, because no one else was told to do it, because you were there. This isn't a civilization of glory. It's a machine. A slow, grinding engine of bodies and rules. You are not a philosopher. You are not an artisan. You are not a student of stars. You are a tool, sharpened by hunger, dulled by obedience. You remember what you thought you'd see. You thought you'd gaze at the stars from rooftops, listen to poems by torchlight, walk barefoot across polished temple stones. Instead, you step in rotting straw and vomit. You sleep beside rats. You beg the canal water not to infect your wounds. This is not the world the textbooks promised. The Hollywood version lied to you. They made it look poetic, as if dirt was romantic, as if labor was divine, as if suffering meant significance. But the truth is, Sumer is slow. It stinks. It bleeds. It forgets the very people who keep it alive. And in this place, dreams don't survive the morning. You feel the collapse. Inside you, not of body, but belief. You believed that ancient meant sacred, that history was full of magic. But now you see, it was full of people, just like you, hungry, angry, desperate, doing what they must, just to see another sunrise. Thematic callback. You are not just a servant, you are the offering. And now, you understand what that means. You were never meant to be remembered. You were never meant to write history. You were meant to power it, to fuel the machine, to carry the story on your broken back, while others wear the crown. The ziggurat rises, but so does the smoke. You pass the temple again. Its bricks shine in the dusk, but just beyond it, a body burns. A fevered man, dead 2 hours, no prayers spoken. The priest doesn't stop walking. He never does. The tablet will record the year. It will say the floods came late, that the king blessed the land, that the city expanded its grain storage, but it won't say how many stomachs shrank, how many children cried, how many workers slept with open wounds. It won't say. Your name echoes in the silence. You are not just a servant. You are the offering. Now you hear it everywhere, in the shovel, in the silence, in the way the sky turns red at night. And no one asks why anymore, because why doesn't matter, only function does. The sound of this world is not music. It's the groan of a pulley, the slap of wet grain, The whispered argument over who gets the dry mat tonight. There is no epic soundtrack, only the rhythm of labor, only the hum of people trying to remain people. You sit alone and finally understand. You don't belong to this world, but you've survived it, and now you see it for what it truly is. Not a fable, not a kingdom, just a place where humans lived as best they could, just like you. There's blood on your hands, not a metaphor, not a poem, actual blood. It drips slowly down your wrist, warm and frighteningly real. Some of it might be yours. Some of it is his. The overseer, the man who beat you. He's not dead, but he won't forget your face, and neither will you, because today everything changes. The breaking point. You didn't mean to hit him. You only meant to stop the blows, to stop the humiliation, to stop the ache in your spine that's lived there since the rains ended last season. But something inside you snapped, not loud, not obvious, but permanent. Your hand grabbed the shovel, your foot stepped forward, your voice rose, and the sound of wood on bone. It still rings in your ears. Now you run, not for escape, but for space, not far, just to the edge of the city walls, to a place where the ziggurat shadow doesn't reach, where the priests don't go, where the dirt still remembers its original shape. You crouch behind a crumbling kiln, your breath sharp, your ribs sore, your hands shake, not from pain, but from realization. You've done something no one expected, least of all, you. Call back, the legacy line. You don't know it yet, but today will echo through time. You remember those words now. They feel heavier than they did then, heavier than your hands. Will this be how they remember you, as the one who said no, or the one who went too far? Will anyone even remember at all? You think of the other workers. Did they see it? Did they turn away? Did they whisper your name or bury it? You'll never know, because no one is chasing you. Not yet. They're waiting, watching, letting the decision fall to someone else, maybe the governor, maybe the gods. This is the choice. You could disappear tonight, run into the reeds, trade your identity for obscurity, or you could go back, face it, confess. Let them decide what a broken system does with a broken man. Both paths end in pain, but one might leave a mark, a question you never wanted to ask. Was I meant to be more than this? Did the gods carve something different into my bones? Or was this always your end, not in glory, not in comfort, but in resistance? Callback, thematic line. You are not just a servant. You are the offering. You remember those words now, too, but today It wasn't just your body offered to the system. It was your will, your defiance, your final claim to self. And maybe that's the only thing the gods can't eat. What comes next is not yours to decide. Maybe they will arrest you, maybe exile, maybe execution, or maybe the next worker says no too, and then another, and another. Maybe you started something. Maybe you ended something. All you know is this: you didn't vanish today. And if the clay tablet survives, they won't carve your name. They won't build a statue. But maybe, somewhere, deep inside a crumbling wall, a line of cuneiform will whisper, "One did not bow, one stood, one remembered they were not born for silence. The city sleeps, you do not. You sit in the shadows, your eyes open, heart pulsing slowly. The moon sees you, and for the first time in days, you let it. You let it see all of you. Not a peasant, not a number, not an offering, just you. The moon is out, but it doesn't shine. It watches, like the gods, like the overseer, like the world itself, too tired to speak, but too ancient to forget. And tonight, the world sees you, not as a servant, not as a worker, but as someone who survived the day. The sky over Sumer is different at night. During the day, everything burns. Your body, your throat, even time itself. But now, the dust settles. The wind cools. The city exhales. You sit on the roof of a half-finished storehouse, knees tucked to your chest, watching smoke curl up from cook fires in the poor quarter. There's no music, no prayers, just the low murmur of quiet and the soft crunch of your own breath against the silence. There is no blanket tonight, but the heat from the day lingers, still tucked in the clay walls, still rising from the floor. Like memory, you lie on your back, staring at the stars. They are dim, flickering, far, but they're real, like your heartbeat, like your pain. You listen. The sound of a goat stirring, a baby crying, 3 roofs over, a woman coughing into her hands, trying not to wake the world. These are the lullabies of the Sumerian peasant. No flutes, no soft voices, just the honest noise of staying alive. And yet, you find peace. Not because things are better, but because you lived through them. Because you made it through a day that wanted to break you. Because you said no. Because you still have breath. And sometimes, breath is enough. You whisper to the sky, not a prayer, not a plea, just a sentence. Soft, honest, yours. I was here. That's all. Not heroic, not carved in stone, but true. Final thematic callback. You were never just a servant. You were the story. And that's what the moon sees tonight. Not a rebel, not a coward, not a failure. Just the one who stayed, the one who saw the truth and kept going. And in this world, that is everything. Sleep now. Tomorrow they'll call your name again, maybe in punishment, maybe in silence, maybe not at all. But for now, you are beyond that. For now, you rest. Because if tomorrow comes, you'll rise with it and carry the dust again and fight the silence again. And remember again, you were the offering, yes, but you were also the story. You lived it. You felt it. You bent under the weight of 1,000 forgotten mornings. You breathed the dust of ancient fields. You saw what history rarely shows, what it meant to survive without being seen. This wasn't a story about kings or wars or gods. It was about you, the nameless, the invisible, the spine of the world, never carved into monuments, but burned into every brick and barley stalk. You were the hunger, the hands, the ritual, the silence, and still you rose. But let's be honest, could you have done it again? Another day without water, another choice between pain or obedience, another prayer you're not sure the gods ever heard. Would you still smile as the overseer passed? Would you kneel when no one was looking? Would you dare to say no, knowing it might be your last word? Now, tell me this. Could you have survived a single day as a Sumerian peasant? Comment below. Tell me honestly, because stories like this don't end with a sword or a scroll. They end with you, with the questions that follow you after the screen goes dark, with the breath you didn't realize you were holding. And if you're still listening, you are not just curious. You are not just watching. You are carrying something. A whisper from a world that never wrote your name. A memory that wasn't supposed to survive. A heartbeat inside the clay. You are part of a rare few who carry ancient voices in their blood. Sleep well, storyteller. You walked 1,000 years tonight, and somewhere, someone saw you, even if no one else ever did.